Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews. Today I'll be reviewing the Segway miniPRO. This is a few months in the making. Just couldn't get that time, you know. Got the little child. But this is the pre-2018 model. There's a 2018 model that comes out, or that came out because Segway got purchased and bought out by Ninebot. Then they made one that has a watered down, less miles, less power. But this is the 2017 and older, so buy that one if you're going to get one, because you get 14 miles of range, 10 miles an hour speed, and the miles per hour is completely accurate, because when you're cruising along, you're like, oh man, I'm fixing to freaking blow it out of this planet. It kicks back, will not allow you to go over 10 miles an hour, and you got 220 pounds max payload for this. You can creep over that, no problem. So saith someone in sales from Segway, put it that way. Let's see, you got 10.5-inch pneumatic tires. Make sure to follow the proper PSI or bar rating that's on the side of the wheel. That'll also extend your battery life if you've got the proper amount of air in those tires. It has a mobile app that you can connect via Bluetooth, and the item weight is 28 pounds, shipping weight 38.5 pounds. So it's pretty beefy. If you can't pick up 30 pounds, don't mess with this. Go elsewhere. Go to Scooterville, not Segway land. But this was first listed on Amazon in 2015. So you're looking at how old this item is. But the cool part is the link that I'm going to give through Amazon is actual through Segway themselves, because they do direct sell on Amazon. And this one, like I said, was made by Segway. The newer edition, the 2018, is not, so keep that in mind. And also a thing to note, where hoverboards are banned, this legally is not, because even though it looks like a hoverboard down here, it's not. Segway has been able to finagle the system, and this is a mode of transportation. It's not a hobby fun land like hoverboards are. So if those are restricted and somebody gets onto you, they don't know what they're talking about. Anything Segway related is for transportation and is legally allowed. Now you'll notice it's sitting up right by itself. It's because I have installed a kickstand. Highly recommend a kickstand. Couldn't recommend one enough. Come in such handy because you don't have to turn it on. But if you did want to turn it on, just push the button in the front. You'll get your battery meter right down front. You get the Bluetooth button blinking to connect with my phone, which it will. We'll go over that app here in a little bit. But it pretty much balances itself. I've disengaged the kickstand. You got directions on the pads pointing forward, and you also get this neat little thing right here, which you can just guide it around if you wanted to, because how this thing works is when you get on it, you lean left or right to turn left or right, lean forward and back to go forward and back. And it's easy. It's like stepping onto a step. The first time I did it, I was a little intimidated, but after you do it a while, and you never forget how to ride it, because it's been a minute since I rode it, but you just never forget. And you got these fenders here to stop stuff from splashing up on you. The cool thing about this is a little bit better than scooters is you can go off-road with it. It'll ride on grass. See, I'm riding on grass. The important thing to remember is your stability triangle when you're on anything, especially this guy, because you have a skinny stability triangle. Your stability triangle will be at the left and right of your feet and up to the top of which weight can shift left or right. So you have a tiny stability triangle. So if the ball goes out of the stability triangle, your body will follow and the base will continue on this way. So if you're riding along and you freak out, it can turn and you can keep going, and that can be a disaster. But you have to get completely familiar with this device to be able to know how to properly react, and that is the biggest downside of this device. I love it, but that single thing can cause an accident. If you're in a pedestrian environment, if you're on a sidewalk, a city busy street, whatever, something comes out, something happens, you can get super complacent on this thing because you're just standing there, there's nothing going on, and you have a knee-jerk reaction, a literal knee-jerk reaction, which will cause you to jerk left, and you will continue to fall out of your stability triangle in a forward direction. And when that happens, here comes the bad part, is this thing will keep running away from you, just like that. Now it'll slow down and stop, itself, because right now it's leaning forward to stop, kicked up, but now it's still rolling away. So you got to come back and get it. And you just got to battle that complacency with this thing and know how to properly react, and you'll have the best time of your life. It's awesome. So 14 miles, if you're on a flat plane and the wind at your back, 14 miles, but anticipate that 12-mile mark, and that'll get your hills and your flatlands and all that incorporated into it. Like I said, you won't go an inch over 10 miles an hour. Other than that, it's fantastic, and I absolutely love the thing. Turn it off, just push the button, and you want to pick it up like this. You don't want to pick it up by the plastic fenders or the wheels, because there's no grips. Just pick it up by the base of this is what I would do, because this arm is adjustable, and I think you might pull this up a little higher than where you have it set. So just grab it down here. Like I said, order the kickstand. I'll have a link to that in the description. Now, it is a cool feeling and a sensation to just coast around like this without a problem in the world, just like you're at the front of the ship, the Titanic. But one of the things that you can do to really take control of this thing, there's problems with it, but you can do this, is buy this guy. It's kind of expensive. This thing that it comes with, the phone holder, is a complete joke. Put your own on there that has straps that comes around each corner to really hold it on there. This thing's not gonna hold anything. They should be ashamed of themselves for even selling this thing with it. And one of the things I put onto this handle is an actual child sippy cup holder, leash, something. I'll leave links to everything in the description. But what this is gonna do is, because once you install this, it becomes top heavy. And if you fell off, if you stopped and this handlebar slipped out of your hand, it's gonna fall backwards and haul tail in that direction. So what I do is this unsnaps, and I snap this around my wrists. Doesn't bother anything at all. And if something did happen, something did fall, I've got it right here with me. But I'm gonna install this onto this, and all it is some clamps. This slides right out, this slides right on. You may want to put some lubricant in here, because this fits super tight and was really hard to get off. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here and kind of show you how that handles. Okay, so now I've installed this, and like I said, it's just a clamp, slides over the post down at the bottom, and this kind of curves out and comes out in front of you. Now you have an actual legit Segway. It goes half the miles of what the big guys do that you pay to go on these tour groups with. So if you've got a spouse, if you got a family that's old enough to ride this thing, I think you got to be over 16 or 18 or something like that to ride it. You can all have these and just get down into the city and tour it, because you do have stability. You do have the reaction if somebody came out to be able to keep your stability triangle intact, because you're locking your elbows when you're on this, and whatever direction you go, it'll go. Anyway, let me just show you. And this is where the kickstand comes in handy, because this is top heavy, wants to lean forward. Kickstand just stops that, and it can rest just like this. And you lose your self-stabilizing ability once you put this thing on. Give you an example, you lose your stability. See, it's just going forward, but my wrist will guide thee right back to me if something happens. So that's cool to know. And getting on this thing is really easy. You lock your elbows by your side, you're tilting forward, or you can push back with the handle. You can use these handles to push forward, back, turn left, turn right, and it's a lot more responsive and exact, just like a real Segway is, and trusted. I mean, you don't have to battle as much complacency with this, because I mean, like I said, they give you what, 30 minutes, 15 minute safety session before you jump on these Segways and do these tours with these handles on it. So it really does add to the confidence level and accuracy. See, look at that, like doing a little jig. But yeah, love my Segway. Oh, you can't go backwards. Holy shit, my wrist helped me. Boom, 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 boom. One thing to note, once you get all fancy and stuff with this, realize where the weight's going to shift on your feet. You always want to recognize that, because if you go right, put your weight on the opposite foot, and that'll keep you nice and agile and safe. All right, so the app you can lock, unlock, tell the direction, the speed, the distance remaining, set your speed limits. You get a remote control. There we're in remote control mode. You can see it turn around, and look at the back side. You get these cool little blinky directional lights, which you can change into the app. Let's back that up. Light setting. The lights will automatically come on in the front. The headlights will, by the way. Fans moments. It's got a section in there where people can contribute to the community, which people actively do. So that's kind of amazing that they do that. And yeah, I mean, you get a facts list, but it's just basic stuff. You don't necessarily need the app to function. But the main thing, would I recommend the Segway miniPRO? At its price point, it's actually along the same lines of a regular scooter pricing, but just keep in mind the conditions that you're in. You know you better than anyone else. Can you learn and battle that complacency on this thing to react in certain situations that you don't have to worry about with the scooter? Because the scooter, you step left or right and you're fine. If somebody jumps out, it's easy to avoid or just step off. This, you're kind of locked in there and you got to react to either go backwards, stop, or know that your body weight needs to shift with it to turn left, or it's easy to be bailed. Super stable when you're just in your everyday normal travels and you have a second to think about how you want to turn left or right. But in those emergency situations, you could get dumped off this pretty easy, so keep that in mind. But if you're cool with it and you think you can battle that complacency, well then I do recommend the Segway miniPRO. You get the distance, which is greater than the scooters. A little bit less on the miles per hour, but it feels like you're going fast because you're just kind of standing there. But yeah, so make sure to explode on that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notified on the next electric mobility vehicle I review, because I actually got a few coming down the pipeline. A really special one in August I've been promised, and yeah, another one coming up real soon. So yeah, you can control this. You can sort of see it going off. Ah!